Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine and doing well at your home. Children, today we will be understanding and we will be recalling lightning discharge, or we can say lightning concepts, as well as the earthquake concepts from the chapter Some Natural Phenomena. Okay, so here we begin. So first we will understand about discharge, that is electric discharge. Then we will discuss about the lightning. See children, electric discharge. What do you mean by electric discharge? Electric discharge means, for example, suppose if I have one object in my hand, suppose I have one object like this over here in my hand and another object like this over here. And this object is having some charges in it. For example, if it is having extra negative charges in it and I am touching this neutral object to this, or this object which is having the less amount of the negative charges in it, I am touching it to this object. Now for example, from this object the electrons or the negative charges are moving towards this object. We will say that this object is going to get discharged, or it will undergo electric discharge. So I hope you have understood what is electric discharge. Now we will utilize our concepts in the lightning phenomena. Okay, so what is lightning? See children, there are various types of lightnings which can occur. We will understand first of all intra-cloud lightning. What is intra-cloud lightning? So let us see. Intra-cloud lightning. See, as the name suggests, intra-cloud. Intra-cloud means the lightning concept which will be occurring by the help of only one cloud. Here only one cloud we will be utilizing, and we will be seeing that how it is undergoing the lightning discharge. So let us see, for example, suppose we have only one cloud and this cloud has been moving in the air. Whenever the cloud will be moving in the air, it will rub against the air and it will develop some charges. For example, if it develop negative charges in its upper portion and positive charges in its lower portion. Let us see. Okay, so for example, suppose this cloud has developed negative charges in its upper portion and positive charges in its lower portion, and the amount of negative charges are more as compared to the positive charges. Now in this case what will happen, whichever the portion of the cloud is having the less number of the negative charges, and whichever the portion of the cloud which is having the high concentration or the large number of the negative charges, from that portion the negative charges are going to move into the portion where the negative charges are less. Here you can see that the upper portion of the cloud is having a large number of the negative charges. So the negative charges will move from the large concentration towards the lower concentration, as the lower concentration means the below portion or the lower portion of the cloud is having the less number of the negative charges. So the negative charges from the upper portion of the cloud will move towards the lower portion of the cloud. So here we see, for example, suppose these charges, as the negative charges from the upper portion of the cloud are moving towards the lower portion of the cloud where the number of the negative charges are less, and the upper portion of the cloud the negative charges are more in concentration. So from high concentration, when the negative charges are moving to the low concentration, then what does it means? The upper portion is getting electric discharge. And when a cloud is undergoing electric discharge, definitely the lightning phenomena will take place. Okay, so here we can see that when the charges, that is the negative charges, are moving from the upper portion towards the lower portion, then the lightning phenomena will occur, and such type of lightning is called as intra-cloud lightning. Okay, now we will be discussing cloud to cloud lightning concept. So here we understand cloud to cloud, cloud to cloud. As the name is suggesting, cloud to cloud. So definitely we will have two clouds. One cloud will have some negative charges, another cloud will be having positive charges, and when these two clouds will approach, whichever the cloud is having more number of the negative charges, from that cloud the negative charges will move towards the cloud which is having less number of the negative charges. Like this, one cloud will get discharging and the other cloud will get charges, due to which the lightning phenomena will occur. Let us see. So as you can see, we have two clouds. One cloud will be having positive charges and the other cloud is having the negative charges. So as you can see that one of the cloud is having the positive charges, another cloud is having the negative charges. Now what happens? One of the cloud which is having the large number of the negative charges, from that cloud the negative charges will move towards the cloud which is having less number of the negative charges. And this will be occurring when the two clouds will approach towards each other. Okay, as you can see, two clouds have been approaching towards each other. So this cloud which is having the large number of the negative charges, these negative charges will get moving into this cloud that is which is having the less number of the negative charges. And due to this phenomena, the cloud which is having the large number of the negative charges will discharge. And due to this discharging effect, the lightning phenomena will occur. So here the lightning phenomena will occur, and we will say that this is cloud to cloud lightning. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now we will be discussing cloud to ground lightning concept. Okay, cloud to ground. So let us see here, cloud to ground. See children, in this phenomena what happens, that cloud to ground, one of the cloud which is having the large number of charges. As you know that the clouds, they develop the charges when they are moving and they are rubbing against the air. So for example, suppose we have one cloud like this over there, and this cloud has developed some charges. Let us say that this cloud's upper portion has developed the positive charges like this, and this cloud's lower portion has developed the negative charges. Okay, now what happens when this cloud is going to approach towards the ground? Though it will not approach, it will not come on the ground, but for example, if the height is very less. Okay, suppose this is the ground over here. This is the ground, and the air between the cloud and the ground gets ionized. Ionized means it is having large amount of moisture, due to which the air has also developed some amount of charges in it. So the air will become, you can say, poor conductor of electricity. It will allow small amount of, you can say, conductivity. It will help in the conductivity. It will develop some little amount of the charges due to the moisture as well as certain factors present in it. Okay, so what will be happening, that whatever these negative charges are there, now for example, they try to move towards the ground. And why they will be moving towards the ground? Why they will be moving towards the ground? Because ground is trying to behave as a positive charge entity, positively charged object. Okay, so for example, as you can see, the ground is behaving as a positively charged body, positively charged entity, and the negative charges which are there more in the lower portion of the cloud, they try to move from the cloud towards the ground, like this over here. As they try to move towards the ground, then what happens, that the lower portion of the cloud is getting discharged. Lower portion of the cloud is getting discharged, and due to this discharge phenomena, or you can say this discharging of the cloud, lightning phenomena occurs. Again, we can say that the lightning phenomena will occur, and this type of the lightning will be called as the cloud to ground lightning phenomena. I hope this concept is clear to you. Okay, children, I hope you have understood. There is no confusion related to the various sorts of lightning, various kinds of lightning. Now children, we will be understanding about the earthquake. That what is earthquake, how the earthquake is caused, and we will talk about the various terms related to it. Okay, let us see over here. See children, if you talk about the earthquake, so earthquake is the sudden shaking of the ground surface or the earth surface where the humans are living, due to which the heavy destruction of the life and the property is caused. So let us see over here. So for example, what is earthquake? A sudden shaking of ground, sudden shaking of the ground or the earth's surface, it is regarded as the earthquake. But this is a very simple definition. How it is caused, that we have to understand. Okay, let us see. Before understanding the cause of it, let us understand about one concept, that is tectonic plates or the plate tectonics. What are these? Children, you know very well that our earth is comprising a core. Our earth is comprising a core. This is the center portion, which is called as core. Then mantle, and then the crust. This is the portion called as crust. Children, this crust, you might be seeing that it is a continuous surface, but though it is not, it is discontinuous, it is present in some parts. For example, if you talk about the crust is not in a continuous orientation, it is having some parts like this. And each part of the crust is called as tectonic plate or the plate tectonic. Okay, so fragments of the crust or the discontinuous parts of the crust, they are regarded as the tectonic plates. So this much is clear to you. I hope you all are understanding. Now let us see how the earthquake is caused. Let us see how the earthquake is caused. Okay, so for example, suppose we have one tectonic plate. This is one tectonic plate. And this is the other tectonic plate. What are these? These are tectonic plates. So we have two tectonic plates over here, and these two tectonic plates, for example, so these two tectonic plates, suppose they are developing a stress between them. Stress means these two tectonic plates, they move or approach towards each other, or they might be rubbing against each other. So when they are doing such kind of the activities, they are developing a stress between each other. Okay, suppose this is one tectonic plate, this is another tectonic plate, and these two tectonic plates, suppose they are, what you can say, compressing against each other. Due to this, what happens? Stress is getting developed. And when this stress increases, when this stress or the force increases, this stress or force creates seismic waves. Okay, what it creates? It creates some waves which are called as seismic waves. Okay, suppose this tectonic plate and this tectonic plate, they both are approaching towards each other. So due to this, when the stress is going to increase, the seismic waves will be formed. For example, due to the stress between these two tectonic plates, when the seismic waves are formed, these seismic waves, they will be forming, what you can say, the earthquake, they will be developing the shaking of the ground surface. They will be creating the shaking or the tremors or the trembling of the earth surface. This is regarded as the earthquake. And the point from where this earthquake has started, this point is called as, you can say this point is called as focus. Focus can be also regarded as the hypocenter. Okay, focus is also regarded as the hypocenter. Now, above this focus, suppose this is the ground surface, and here the buildings are there, here the buildings are there, here the people are living. Okay, this is the surface of the ground, and these were the tectonic plates. Here, from this hypocenter, that is the focus, the earthquake has originated. That means the seismic waves have originated, and this point is regarded as focus or hypocenter. Above this focus or hypocenter, this point is regarded as the epicenter. This point is regarded as the epicenter. And the portion above which, or the places which are located just above this, just above these tectonic plates, due to which the earthquake is generating, these places which are present just above these tectonic plates where the earthquake is originating, these are known as seismic zones, or you can say fault zones or the weak zones. Okay, so the places which are situated just above those tectonic plates due to which the earthquake is originating, these places will be called as seismic zones or the weak zones or the fault zones. Okay, so this is we can say seismic zone, or we can also say that it is also called as fault zone. Or we can also say the weak zone. So I hope you have understood how the earthquake is originating, and one thing you should know, children, the earthquake will be lasting for few seconds only, but the destruction, if it is going to cause, it will be very, very severe, it will be very, very huge and large. Okay, children, now let us understand how we can measure an earthquake. So for that we are going to use a seismogram, which is going to form a seismograph, and by the help of which we can understand what is the impact or what is the intensity of an earthquake. Let us see how the seismogram is made and what it is comprising. Okay, see children, by the help of our diagram we will understand how the seismogram looks like. So seismogram is a device, and the graph which it is making, it is called a seismograph, and how it is working, let us understand. So let us see. See children, as you can see in the diagram, whatever the seismogram is there, it is comprising of a stand. This is a stand, it is a rigid stand, and to this rigid stand you will see one pendulum or a heavy mass has been suspended. So you can see this is a pendulum which has been suspended. Okay, this is the pendulum. This pendulum has been suspended with this rigid, you can say, support. And now you can see one more thing is there, that is a pen. A pen has been connected to this pendulum. This is the pen. And you can see this portion, it is comprising of a magnet. This is a magnet. Children, this magnet holds the pendulum at its proper position so that due to the shaking of the earth during an earthquake, this pendulum should not move very much here and there. So it should not make a graph also. But to control it, we are having this magnet fixed over here. Okay. And now what we can see, this is a paper drum. Okay, this is a paper drum, and this paper drum is rolling. It is rolling, continuously rolling by the help of a motor, as you can see. Now, what happens during an earthquake? During an earthquake, what will happen? This pendulum is going to shake, and when it is going to shake, the pen with it is also going to shake. And when the both, that is the pendulum with the pen, they are going to shake, it is going to form a graph on this paper roll. This is a paper roll. A graph will be formed like this. Okay. When the graph will be formed, the peaks of the graph, as you can see, the peaks of the graph, they will tell about that how much intense the earthquake is. For example, if the earthquake is having its intensity from 0 to 4, the earthquake is regarded as of, you can say, it is less impactful. It will not create any kind of a harm. Okay. Now from 5 to, you can say, 7, the earthquake is regarded as of medium intensity. It is also going to create some harm, but that will not that much that the humans will be suffering alone. Okay. Now for example, now from 7 to 10, if the intensity of the earthquake is going to be there, it is going to cause a severe harm. Children, 0 to 4, 5 to 7 or 7 to 10, these readings are represented as a Richter scale reading. Okay, Richter scale reading. So like this, we can understand about how to measure an earthquake by the help of a seismogram. This is a seismogram, and the graph which has been formed by the help of seismogram, it is seismograph. So I hope you have understood about seismogram, seismograph, and what are the readings which are going to be taken in the Richter scale. Okay, so Richter scale readings are going to be there, which will tell the intensity of an earthquake. I hope you have understood. Children, after this video, I will be sending some questions regarding this chapter which have been left. So you will be doing it, and then whenever you will be coming to the school, you will be showing and will be correcting it.